All right, homies. I got a really quick one for you today. The workout was unfortunately cut short. Don't get me wrong. Does not mean the workout wasn't incredible. I did very well. Managed to put up 295 for 3 doubles on clean and jerk. I couldn't be happier. That's great. That's what I wanted to hit. That was my goal. I had 2 press outs, even though I don't think they're very visible. It's a very quick unlock and relock of the elbow. Nothing insane. Nothing, that I would be really upset about. It's like a training make. A new, it's not competition standard, but whatever. I'm making progress, doing my best. The issue I have run into today is this is mainly because let me restart. Before I get into anything, I'm a bit flabbergasted. I just want to get it out for a sec before I got to go to work. Physically, I'm going to give it, based off the clean and jerks, because I don't want to base it off the rest of it, because I didn't get to lift, so I don't want to base it off of something that I didn't get to at least try. The clean and jerks by themselves, I felt at a very solid 9.1. It was really good, really solid. Could not complain. The split jerks I want to get better with, because my standing holding position, when I'm doing my dip and drive, can be a bit shaky. My core is my limiting factor for sure. Something that I want to work on in the upcoming weeks. Because every time push comes to shove, my abs crumble, and that little bend forward or not being able to hold it as tight as I can when I'm getting ready to dive underneath it, it's an issue. I need that strength in order to put in my best. That's kind of, I didn't get to do front squats or clean pulls. We'll get into it, but I'll give you mentally in a minute. Let's talk about it first. What happened was I did my lifts, felt great, and like the other week, if you've been watching, I think a little over maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that, when I was squatting, I did my Olympic lifts, felt fine, got the squats, blew chunks. I just blame this on mixing hot honey with pre-workout on accident. That was my bad. That was genuinely my stomach just didn't feel good. Today, however, was a bit different. And now I could sit here and say that it was just the pre-workout, but I think that I am more exhausted than I realize. I think that I'm not giving myself the efficient recovery that my body deserves, because I'm so used to setting myself to a certain standard that it's hard to imagine going slower, even if it's going to make me stronger in the long run. And with these 12-hour night shifts, picking up all these other passions, trying out new stuff along the way, trying to remain social, getting to the gym on time, even though I am lacking sleep. Whenever I'm working, I barely get 5 hours of sleep in, because that's all I can afford. The workouts are quite frankly too long to, allow that kind of rest. And that can seem like an excuse, but I am showing up with that lack of sleep because I don't want to use it as an excuse to miss. I don't want to just not go to the gym because I'm a little bit tired. I want to at least try, and if I don't hit it, I'll just do it again next week, right? Right. So anyway, I started doing my front squats, and almost immediately I felt it come up, and I was like, dude, what the fuck? Because I felt completely fine. I'm not sick, I can promise you that. I know what it feels like to be sick and throw up, and that was just, my body was just rejecting me, quite frankly. And I just could not hold it together for the life of me. And I was like, well, I got to do it. If I squat one more set, I'm going to blow up on the fucking mirror. And I'm not going to do that. So I just let it out, and I just sat there, and I'm like, I did it the last time because I knew that it was just because I mixed 2 bad foods together, and I was so amped up that I could commit to it. But last time I worked out after throwing up, I think I pulled my quad a bit, and it just strained my body really bad. I don't want to push it in that dangerous kind of way. Even if I felt fine in the moment, I have to recover at the rate that my body needs in that moment. Even if I could have done more had I not thrown up, that's not what's important. It's recognizing where you are in that present moment with what life has handed you. And unfortunately, that's just what happened. And I think more than the pre-workout, because I've been taking it for a while. I don't take a lot. It's like 200 milligrams of caffeine. It's not much compared to what I've done in the past or what I've been doing. And it really is typically not an issue. It's only ever when I push myself as hard as I can when I am in between my 12-hour shifts. That's kind of what I'm recognizing. And I want to give my body that rest it needs. And I think that more than the pre-workout, I just couldn't hold my body together whatsoever, you know? I think I just reached that breaking point without realizing it until it was too late. And as unfortunate as that is, it does not mean I had a bad workout. I did incredibly well. You know, I got to give myself credit where credit is due. And I performed well. Absolutely. My clean form has actually never been better. It may look a little slow to me at least, but I'm getting good at making that first pull a little bit slower so I can emphasize everything through the second and then the third pull. And I didn't have a single clean today where I let my core break and lean forward. That is something to go home and brag about. That's something I can't tell you how excited I am that my cleans are finally getting back to a really confident positioning. My split jerks are still on the way, but for the most part, they're also doing wonderfully. And even though they're tired, I still have really good technique in the moment. You know, my innate form is still doing incredibly well. So what I want to really focus on, even though I'm happy, I'm honestly over the moon, even though I don't seem like it. But it's that little second of like, I'm gonna pat myself on the back, but now I gotta really look at this and see realistically where I'm at, you know? And ever since I got back on the normal program, my knees are both back at 100% confidently. Nothing hurts anymore. It's insane. And I realize I think I'm abusing that fact, you know? You can be blinded a bit by your own success, that you allow yourself to push so hard that you forget to give your body and mind that rest it actually needed in the first place. Even if you were peaking and were doing better than you've ever done, it doesn't mean that you just have that magical ability to just keep packing it on every single week without giving a shit about your body. You know, you still gotta care. You still gotta be cautious and, you know, smart. It's having a purpose behind every single lift you do. And whether or not it was the purpose of me doing as hard as I could, as best as I could with the clean and jerks today, or by the end of it, deciding not to hit those other two exercises because I knew in the long run it would be smarter and more efficient to allow myself to come back in a healthy, positive way when I knew I wasn't ready, you know? You know, something else is my front squat on the last week was already on the brink. Like every single week, I feel like I've been dying on my front squats. It has not felt confident. It's felt good, but it's not that level of, you know, mind muscle connection that I want for the long run. So I'm going to look into writing a new program, not for the sake of, I feel like this current one doesn't work. I think it's the fact that this one it's reminding me more and more of my Rep Max program that hurt my knee in the first place. You know, I was able to push weight so frequently. I was adding weight almost every week, like I am now. And right now it's working better because I'm doing more and more weeks of volume rather than just jumping straight into the heavy stuff. But the more I add weight, the more I still have to reach that maximum effort. And who knows what would have happened today. Let's say I do just say, screw it, let's do the front squats. And then I do them, and then my knee explodes again. There goes another 6 months after I just recovered. You know, this is my first cycle back on. And just about every week, I'm sure you guys have seen it. Like I had to take a week to let my right leg recover from the compensation of my left. My hand has felt wonky at some point. My back is pulled. Both my legs have pulled. My calf is pulled. I've had so many really, really, really small and seemingly insignificant injuries, but they stack together. You know, they even though I'm taking the ample amount of rest I need to come back from them, I really shouldn't have to rest as much as I've been, you know? I shouldn't have to consistently force myself to go back and forth, stopping and then getting right back on the cycle without any consistency. You know, I want to get that consistency back, because I used to be able to go 3, 4, 5, 6 months straight without needing a break. And of course a break is good, but a break needs to come from a personal I'm tired need, not the I have to because I push it too hard kind of need, because that means I let the ego take over. So anyway, what this means is tomorrow might be a rest day. I really haven't decided. I think it is going to be, because I had the thought of like, okay, so there's two sides of this now. I could either A, stay on this program, because next week is the peak week where I go to the heavy stuff, or I write a better, more efficient, better recovery-based program to where I can confidently build back up to that weight in a shorter amount of time with less effort needed and less fatigue stacking on top of itself, you know? Because I have some ideas. I really like what I'm looking into, and I think it's going to be a great progression. But it's one of those things where you have to sit there and realize sometimes that even though you are so close to what appears to be your peak, you know, because next week would have been the heaviest weights I've hit since my knee exploded, I need to sit here and realize, am I truly ready for that? Or have I given myself a falsehood, you know, a falsification of a mindset that has allowed me to believe that I'm there simply because I'm picking up more and more weight every week? Or am I further fatiguing myself every week? You know, you can't really tell until you reach that breaking point. And if I'm throwing up, pulling a muscle here and there every other week, something's not as right as it needs to be. You know, it's not all together. So, apologies for the more somber video, but I just want to be honest. This happens. You know, you have to wake up and embrace the struggle. You know, you have to get excited to struggle, because that's what the sport is. That's what it means to succeed. You have to give yourself that availability to push it as hard as humanly possible, and then be happy with the results after. You know, that's at least where I stand with it. I'm not going to stress too much about it, because that's what's made it tough in the past, where I put all this pressure on myself to jump back on the program right away and then go way too hard and then I can't do anything. I don't want to do that again. I want to truly build it up in a positive way, and I got great ideas, so I'm going to see what happens and see what works. But you guys are going to be here either way. You know, I'm going to keep doing this. These positive self-talks are what give me a great perspective and idea to build upon that and keep going beyond, you know, have an idea of a hope for the future so that I can keep wanting to pursue that passion on its own, you know? So anyway, mentally, after all that, realistically, I'll give it an 8.5. It's still really good. I am doing great. I started picking up some passions I left in the past that I'm rekindling. It's been really great. It's been a nice experience to get back into that. And so I've been enjoying my daily life a little bit more, being happier, being alone sometimes than stressing about it. So I'm just gonna take the time I want to and just really have fun and appreciation for this new program I'm gonna write down, and we'll see what happens from there. I'm not gonna stress about it. It's just gonna happen at its own rate, and I'll be happy with whatever the results are, you know? I'm sorry if the video seemed very strung out. I don't have much recording today, so I don't really know what I'm gonna do about that. So sorry if the pacing's off, but I appreciate you guys either way. You know, you guys have been a great support, and it's always nice to talk and shoot the shit with you guys. So either way, I will be back day after tomorrow. It seems like I'm going to get that full rest and recovery that I actually need, and we'll see what happens. I love you guys. Seriously. I'll see y'all later. Bye.